Welcome to the Impact Maker's Journey from Passion to Profits, the podcast showcasing heart-centered coaches, experts, and energy healers who are on a mission to change lives and create meaningful success doing what they love. I'm your host, Wendy Vaughan, business success coach and founder of Impact Maker Coaching. And I've got to be honest, the path from passion to profits is rarely easy, but it's always filled with growth, clarity, and surprising rewards. Now, each week I sit down with inspiring impact makers who have turned their knowledge and wisdom into thriving businesses that are making a meaningful difference for others. I will explore their personal and professional journeys, how they found their calling, and how they continue to stay aligned with their passion along the way. So if you're here to expand your vision about what's possible for yourself, you're in the right place. So join me as we discover the positive ripple effects created by today's guest. Hi there, everyone. I am super excited because today I have as my guest, Karen Putz. Now, Karen is known as the Passion Mentor. Now, she supports people who are in their mid-40s and older to create more fun, more joy, and more adventure in the second half of their lives. So welcome, Karen. I am so excited to have you as my guest today.
Thank you for having me. It's always
Yeah,
a pleasure to talk about this.
absolutely. And I am so looking forward to discovering more about this great work you do, as well as just a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey, because what I've discovered is everybody's journey is a bit unique. Because, we have different lives, right? And those moments of inspiration or those barriers or stumbling blocks, they all are part of that perfect pathway, 2020 hindsight. So, and, typically that journey also includes what I call opportunities for personal growth. Do you agree?
About that.
Yeah, because, as we, um, face those different challenges, we find that we have to become more skilled, more adept, more compassionate, more forgiving, more tenacious. So all those things add to our evolution as individuals. So tell me a little bit about your journey. What prompted you
Sure.
to
I'm going to
venture
go.
out on this path? And how long have you been a coach and a mentor?
Okay, I'm going to go way back. And that was when I was born. I was born with normal hearing, and I grew up hard of hearing, thanks to a gene in our family. Extremely rare. We are one of four families in the entire world with this gene.
Oh
We
my
didn't know
gosh.
at the time. And then in high school, I discovered this sport of barefoot water skiing. Water skiing on bare feet.
Right?
And one day I crashed.
Uh-oh.
So when I got into the boat, I had gone deaf. And I didn't realize it at the time. I thought, oh, I've got water in my ears. But
Right.
no, a couple of weeks later, I was on my way to college and it hit me. I'm deaf.
Mm.
So
Oh
that was
no.
a very dark time in my life. I really struggled. And
Yeah.
it was, as you can imagine, quite a bit of a change. Here I am at college, all these people. I'm deaf, I'm struggling, I can't hear my professors. Everything was kind of dark at that time, and I considered ending it. That's how bad it
Mm.
was.
Mm.
And one morning I woke up and I said to myself, okay, I have choices. I can embrace this journey, and stop struggling against it, or I can
Yeah.
continue to struggle the rest of my life. So I made the choice that morning to embrace being deaf. I was
Wow.
meeting people who were deaf, who were signing. I met my husband at that time. Things started to change. Things started
Wow.
to open up.
Just
That
with that mindset shift, that decision. I
it's
mean,
the
but
power
yeah.
we have in us. One decision away from a whole brand new life. I didn't know I was learning that lesson back then until I became coach.
Mm.
We are all one decision away from a very different life. but
Mm.
many of us don't realize it. Well, fast forward to the age of 44, life was good, but it was ho-hum. My kids were, growing up, they didn't need me as much anymore. And I tried to barefoot water ski the day before my 45th birthday, and I couldn't do it.
Mm.
So my image of midlife was like, oh my gosh, it's over. I'm
Right.
old. What is there to look forward to?
Right.
Why didn't I enjoy things when I was younger and I could do them? So that was my image of midlife, of growing older, like, oh my gosh, the best years are over and done with. Lucky for me, I saw 66-year-old women barefoot water skiing on the Today Show. So I got in touch with her and she said, come to Florida, we'll get you barefooting again. And
Nice.
the world barefoot champion, Keith St. Orange, he got me in the water on my first try.
Wow. That's
He
great.
barefoot backwards. He became my mentor. I ended up writing his book.
Ah,
So he trained me. I competed for 4 years.
wow. That's fantastic.
But backwards on one foot with my hands in the air, something I couldn't even imagine doing as a teenager.
Wow.
That started me down the journey of becoming a life coach. The
Mm.
joy that I found, the reignition of passion, I wanted everybody else to experience that
Right.
in the
What a
second half
gift.
of life. So that
Mm-hmm.
excites me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Such an inspirational story. And my goodness, I just can't even imagine that weight that was on your shoulders when you realized, no, I didn't have water in my ears. It it's permanent. And at that brink of stepping out into the world and having this perceived limitations and then just facing it head on and saying, no, I don't want this. I'm not going to choose what's behind curtain number one. I'm going with curtain number two.
This
what
is
what an
exactly it.
inspiration.
It was not an easy transition. I mean, I
No.
struggled. I had to learn sign language.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to wear hearing aids 24/7 at that point. I had to learn how to lip read even better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Oh, no doubt it wasn't an easy path. The decision meant a huge mountain to climb, but it was the wind in your sails that carried you through that. So that is just an amazing and inspirational story. And, starting a business, that's not easy by any means, right? So if you were to look back, with 2020 hindsight, which is always our crystal clear vision, is there anything that you would have done differently in starting your coaching practice to build it faster?
I think I would have started it out with more confidence from
Mm,
the beginning to really trust myself. It took a long time to get into that place and that space where I could say, I'm good at this.
yeah.
And it took a while to get there to that point to actually say to somebody else that I can help you, to get
Mm-hmm.
the confidence, to get that blueprint going for someone. I would have loved to have gotten to that space quicker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everything's changing. I love where I am right now, and I'm in a different place now than obviously 10 years ago. I'm more
Right.
confident. I've helped thousands of people with, oh, sorry, with passion tests. I taught them how to do it, how to find their top five
Mm-hmm.
passions in life, and I love doing that.
Right. Yeah. Just boiling it down to what the process is, gives you that clarity. But I love the fact that you shared, and that's not an easy thing to do, to show a little vulnerability in terms of, yeah, I really lacked confidence, because so many entrepreneurs can relate with that. Because the thing is, when we're experts and truly have that knowledge and wisdom, it's who we know we are, and oftentimes we just downplay it. Not everybody does, but a lot of us do. Those abilities, it's like, well, it's not a big deal, it's just what I do, and da 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 da. And so even though for others it's like, how do you even, how do you do that? That's amazing. And so we lack that confidence early on, and gaining that ability to just step out on true faith and own that is something that is really one of the biggest hurdles to starting your own business. So I really can relate and also admire the kind of that evolution. And I know that your specialty is working with those people who are now in their midlives, just like you've described, and they're feeling ho hum. They're feeling kind of empty. It's like, well, I checked off a lot of boxes. I've got the job, I've got the house, got the kids, got the cars. Da 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 da. We go on our token vacation every year, and it's ho hum. So, curiously, what are some common false beliefs that these people have that keep them stuck in their ho-humness, thinking that things can't change for them?
I think there's two things. One is comparisonitis. We constantly compare ourselves to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of developing our own passion path, we compare ourselves, oh, they have more, or I should be further along, or I should do this, instead of really looking in our hearts. What do you really want? How do
Mm,
you want to live? Because everybody has an opinion on how you should live. And if you keep following all those opinions, you're never going to create the passion path that's right for you. So that's one. The
right.
second thing, there is this myth or the media out there that feeds into the idea of ageism.
Mm,
I mean, we constantly have to battle that, the idea that midlife is this, getting older is that. And
right.
what we need to see role model. We need to see those 90-year-olds who are skydiving. We need to
Mm-hmm.
see 80-year-olds who started weightlifting.
Yeah.
We need to see the snowboarders who started when they were 76.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the stories we need to be exposed to so that we can find our own confidence, our own passion, our own path. And
Right.
have
And even permission, I think, the permission to, still go after things.
Yeah, I always tell somebody that if no one has done it, maybe you have to be the first.
Right.
There is a 103-year-old lady who skydived and she died 3 weeks later. And someone actually said, oh, she hadn't gone skydiving. Maybe she would still be alive. Folks, she was over 100. What a
Yeah.
wonderful way to go.
Right.
So this idea that we should just live for the sake of living is actually holding us back.
Mm-hmm.
We should live for the sake of having a passionate life. So that
Yes.
and does come, it's okay. We've lived it fully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Having a passion and a purpose is truly, I believe, the fountain of youth.
But here's the thing that I think that is misunderstood is that people think they need to find their purpose. No, you actually have to create it. Your purpose is created by your skills, your passion, your talent, your interests.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you create purpose. You
Mm-hmm.
decide that this is what I'm going to do. This is what is meaningful to me. This is how I want to make an impact.
Mm-hmm.
Answer those questions. You have your purpose right in front of you, guiding you forward.
It doesn't have to be this big boulder you're carrying to have a purpose. I love that. It's liberating to hear you. Yeah. So curiously, Karen, what's going on for these people that finally prompts them to say, you know what? Enough. I need to fix this. I'm going to draw the line in the sand, and I'm going to talk with Karen, and because this is, got to change. So what I know that everybody has a different prompting probably, but in general, what happens typically for these people who finally say, enough, I need to fix this, and they don't fall into that, oh well, I'm getting old and this is just how it is. So suck it up.
Most people wake up and have a moment of, is this all there is? They start questioning that. That's usually the first prompting, the little nudge in the soul that says, you were meant for more. When they start looking back in life, they start remembering moments of joy, and they start to recognize that their life is missing some of those moments of joy. And
Mm-hmm.
I think, oh, I only have about maybe 20 summers left. When you put things in perspective,
Yeah.
when you start counting seasons and then you start to realize, wow, then you start making different decisions. You start letting go of things that really don't matter to you. You start saying
Mm-hmm.
parties and people who drain your energy. You start thinking about, ooh, wouldn't it be fun to do this? Wouldn't it be fun to do that? There's a shift in how you want to live.
Mm-hmm.
And that shift happens, or that curiosity about that shift, that's when I get clients. They
Mm-hmm.
saying, okay, passion mentor, what does this mean? I mean, can I live differently?
Yeah.
I want to do something with my life, but I don't know what it is. I
Right.
want
So
more.
just hearing just acknowledging the prompts instead of stuffing them down, right? Acknowledging the little nudges, acknowledging those questions that keep popping up, and realizing that no, that's important. It's not something that I'm just like, oh, having a moment. Right. Yeah, I love that. So I'm curious, so what about people who are older than their mid 40s and 50s? Like, they're in their 70s, 80s, like you talked about the 103-year-old woman who's skydiving. Can people in those 70s, 80s decades find their passion at that point and change things?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I specialize in that.
Okay.
Specialize that. I tell people, as long as you're breathing, you've got passion. Sometimes people will challenge me and say, okay, come on, Karen, what if I just moved into a nursing home? Can I really find my passion? And then I tell them the story of Alfie, a guy from Australia, moved into a nursing home at 109 years old. It's pretty safe to say he was at the end of his life, right? 109,
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
pretty, you
Pretty
know?
much outlives 80% of the people at that point.
Yeah, the nurses got a call and they said, who do you know who can knit sweaters? We've got 500 penguins that got caught in an oil spill. So they asked around and Alfie raises his hand. He was a professional knitter in 1930s.
Oh my gosh.
So right then and there, he starts giving knitting classes and he gave them for 1 full year before he passed away.
Wow.
See, passion is a spirit within you. It's
Hmm.
it's absolutely an attitude about life. It's actually the willingness to learn something new, to do something different, to revive that energy inside of you and not just sit back and wait, for the end of your life.
Hmm.
But you're doing
Yeah,
that.
right. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And you're obviously very passionate about doing this work.
Um,
And I love to hear that, because what I've seen over the past 8 years now of being a business coach is that so frequently those passionate coaches and healers and energy workers, they start out with that spark and that conviction, but then the frustrations and challenges of building a business start dampening. And because it is, like I said, not an easy thing to start your own business. It's not like, okay, I'm in business and the clients start showing up. No, it's not that at all. But those inconsistent results and you know challenges frequently dampen that original passion, which is of course why I love and am passionate about the work that I do, because I know that struggle is not necessary. Because without a shadow of a doubt, I know that with the right strategy, every passion driven coach and healer can have that thriving business. So I'm curious, Karen, what is your secret for refueling your passion for doing this work?
I built it into my calendar. That sounds absolutely crazy, but it's very intuitive.
Okay.
Fridays are for fun. You know, you have got to put passion in your calendar. My mom, it's funny because 4 o'clock every day, my mom sat down, and she had a little ritual at 4 o'clock every day. And then I was like, oh, okay. Passion rituals, we have to build them into our day. Whether it's stopping, going and doing something new, or maybe even reserving some time to do some research or going out surfing. In my case, I go out barefooting. I got barefooting trips. My husband and I, we bought a jet ski and we went from lake to lake to lake to lake when we moved to New York. You've got to plan for passion in your life
Put it in
because
the calendar. I love that. I love
if you
that.
don't put it on a calendar, life is going to slip by.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Oh, boy, that is pure
Yeah.
gold wisdom. Thank you for sharing that, Karen, because it is one of those things, especially for entrepreneurs who unfortunately are under this belief system of I got to do more, so those things that fuel their passion do tend to get put lower on the list. So that's brilliant. Put it on your calendar. I love that.
Yeah.
And the work that you do creates such a ripple effect. I believe that helping people to achieve those new levels of happiness, joy, even financial success creates that infinite ripple effect, right? One of my mentors early in my career as an entrepreneur was Mark Victor Hansen, the co-author for the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. Now, he wasn't my personal mentor, but I was in a mastermind with he and Bob Proctor. So talk about two powerhouses and inspiration and passionate people. My goodness, right? And so this was back in the day when we actually met in person. So 4 times a year we would meet at I believe it was the Broadmoor Estates in Colorado Springs, and just being in the room with these people, it was electrifying, because their vision and their passion was contagious, literally, which is the right kind of contagion that you want. It's kind of like being around you, Karen. It's just like I just feel like getting out there and going and playing, and pursuing things. So anyway, back to one of the things that I learned though from Mark, and I'm sure that he taught tens of thousands of people this, but he said, Wendy, you really need to have that, what he called big, hairy, audacious goal, something that fuels your passion and helps you to see over all these little speed bumps, because that's what they are, just little speed bumps. Some big vision that just you see yourself as part of that tapestry. And so for me, I've had various audacious goals throughout my entrepreneurial journey, but the current one that I've been really embraced or embodying since I've been a business coach has been to raise consciousness within humanity, which is why I love working with coaches like yourself who are breaking the norm, who are dismantling the perceived way of doing things and really inspiring people to step into their fullness, because
Uh,
that raises consciousness, right? When we're alive and pursuing life from you know, our own guiding light instead of checking off the boxes. So, and like I said, because I believe that, the ripple effects are just infinite when, you're helping others to achieve that joy, abundance. Um, it can't help but not affect those around you and on and on. So let me put you on the spot, Karen. Do you have a big, audacious goal or vision for yourself or your business that you could share with us?
well, I've got a couple of them. I
Okay.
just accomplished one of them, and that was to buy a lake house. That was a big one for us.
And I'm sure it's a place where you can jet ski or barefoot ski, right?
Well, I have that now. But I think a really big one is that I have three different businesses. But the newest business is Parent Circle.
Parent
And
circle.
parents with deaf and hard of hearing children. And my
Oh,
goal is to impact thousands of families so that they can raise their deaf, hard of hearing kids with confidence. Because
yes.
confidence at the beginning of the parenting journey is so important. And it
Mm,
works down to the kids. So for me, hitting those numbers, that's a big, hairy goal for me coming up.
hmm
But another one would be I would love to impact millions to really unwrap the gift of passion because I think if we have happy, passionate people, we
Yes.
have less complaints, we have less drama, we have less, you know.
Oh my gosh, less of all the negativity, right? Less health issues and economic issues, and absolutely, absolutely. I am a champion for your vision. Absolutely. I
Thank
love that. Yeah, both of your visions. Absolutely. Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I definitely see both of those things unveiling and happening. So, and I believe that you have a gift for our listeners. Is that correct?
I do, I do.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I'm excited.
In the years of studying passion, and I've learned a lot, I've learned from a lot of passionate different people, and I also took a workshop with Jack Canfield. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so some of that stuff, you know.
hmm
And what I did was I put everything together in this little ebook and it's 22 lessons of passion. So you get this little ebook and it gets you started about thinking about what is important to you passion wise. So I'm giving that out as a gift.
Oh,
22
that's
lessons.
wonderful. I love
Yeah.
that. So 22 lessons
Yep.
to create or connect with or foster the passion in your life.
Yep.
Oh,
To live
that's
it.
fantastic. Well, look in the show notes, listeners, for the link so that you
Mhm.
can grab that free copy for yourself. So thank you so
Yep.
much for doing that, Karen. And I know that there are a lot of people that are probably listening and thinking, you know what? I need a good swift kick in the pants and I need to start, living my life more intentionally. So what's the best next step for people who are curious about the possibility of working with you?
You know what? I just finished the book called The Law of Passion. I just released it. It's brand new. And in there are the five levels of passion. No one has identified that before.
Oh,
Start there with the book. You know, if you
okay.
want some personal coaching, reach out. I have different ways that I can help people. And the
Nice.
bottom line is the minute you unwrap that gift of passion with you, you are honoring your journey on
Mm,
this.
mm. I love that. I love how you frame it in terms of a gift. Yeah, so powerful. Well, Karen, thank you so much for sharing your journey, your inspirational tenacity to step through some incredibly difficult barriers and pursue happiness, pursue your passion, and then sharing that gift with others. So thank you so much for expanding our view of the type of life that can be created, that truly is possible for people that feel like they've checked off all the boxes and maybe that's it, but it's not. So thank you so much for
Lot of
expanding our vision and creating that pathway to achieving truly a life that is fueled by passion. So thank you so much, Karen, for the work that you do.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, the real life transformations facilitated by experts like my guest today are truly priceless. I mean, happiness, joy, peace, love, right? These are all what each of us ultimately strives for in life. But becoming a sought after and well paid coach or energy healer is often challenging, overwhelming, and frustrating. So, if you're a heart centered coach, expert, or energy healer who's striving for more ease, flow, and abundance, well, I've created a special gift just for you. So, check out the show notes. All right. Well, this is Wendy Vaughan signing off. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be sure to join me for my next episode, where we'll be inspired by yet another impact maker's journey.